Well, yes, I am living in this outfit. Thank you for noticing. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today is the 2nd of October and as you can probably hear in my voice, I have got a really heavy cold. I feel rough. I am currently on about 95% Lemsip, I think. So yeah, I've got my first lurgy after the school year, so that's nice. We've had a nice weekend. I've had a busy weekend. I've done a lot of marking this weekend, and then this cold, which was like a little bit of a sniffle on Friday, has become a whole thing. So that's nice. Savannah was allowed outside yesterday for the first time, so that was exciting and also a bit scary. Thankfully she came back and she has mastered the cat flap and stuff, so that's good. So all the cats are now like a lot more relaxed because they can just come and go as they please. And then today cooked a roast for the family because it was, or will be, my father-in-law's birthday on Wednesday, so had a really nice gathering like all together. Sorry, whenever I get a really bad cold, my ears get really itchy, which is why I'm just rubbing them. Not that it helps. So yes, it's been a busy weekend, but a good one. And I thought I would film this clip before I like fully devolve into a slug person, because I have finished a book, which I realise is showing off, but I definitely read most of this in September. But I finished it. Oh, I've got hiccups now. But I finished it in October, so we're counting it for now. And that book is The Marriage Portrait by Maggie O'Farrell. If you watch my September wrap-up, which I will link in the description, you will know that I treated myself to this with a book voucher that my brother-in-law got me for my birthday. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. This is the exclusive Waterstones edition, which basically means there's a really short essay at the back from Maggie O'Farrell talking about her writing process. I'm not sure it's worth the extra money, but hey. And Maggie O'Farrell, if you didn't know, is the author of Hamnet, which is one of my favourite books of all time. This is the second book of hers that I picked up. I haven't picked up any of her backlist because I loved Hamnet so much I was kind of too scared to, and I've heard mixed things. I do want to read I Am, which is her non-fiction, it's her biography. The others that I've looked at, I've been a bit like, I'm not as drawn to it. But this is her new one. It is all about Lucrezia, I hope I'm saying that right, the Duchess of Ferrara, and I teach GCSE poetry, which means that I teach My Last Duchess by Robert Browning, and that is also based on Lucrezia, so like, it kind of felt serendipitous when I stood in Waterstones. And as I said, we're just following her as she goes into this marriage, and the real Lucrezia is thought to have been poisoned by her husband, and so we are following a fictionalized version of her life. I thought this was really well done. The first 100 or so pages I gulped down really quickly, couldn't put it down, absolutely transfixed. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It didn't in the end give me that 5-star feeling. Parts of it felt a little bit meandering, and I was a bit like, where are we going with this? It's very, very beautifully written. You're really on Lucrezia's side. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. I'm not even sure if I am. But you're really on her side all the way through. I really like what Maggie O'Farrell did with the ending, although I did think it was signposted. Like, something happened at an earlier point. Obviously, I'm not going to say where because that would be a spoiler. And I was like, that's what's going to happen at the end. And I was right, which is fine. But it didn't quite capture me as much as Hamnet. But I did really, really enjoy it. And it was a very good start to the reading month. It's the 6th of October and I have been off sick for the last 3 days. which is not good. So as you know from my last clip, have a cold, all that stuff. Went to work on Monday, was like, it's fine, I can dose up and just push through, and that was a major mistake. And then I called in sick Tuesday, Wednesday, and then today's Thursday. I'm going back to work tomorrow. I feel a lot more back in my body today. I've mostly just been sleeping and like really weak for the last couple of days. And when I say sleeping, I mean like dozing in the daytime and then can't sleep at night because I can't breathe, and as soon as the cold medication wears off, I wake up. Last night was better. I did get almost a full night's sleep last night, so I'm hoping for the same tonight, and then I can go back to school tomorrow, which is Friday. But yeah, I've talked about it before. The guilt of being off when you're a teacher is just unreal. Like, I've never had a job like it. But there we go, we have managed. My amazing team and work have obviously like stepped into the breach to cover me, which I feel horrendously guilty about, but it is what it is. And yeah, I'm starting to come back to myself now. As you can probably hear, it's still in my throat, but nowhere near as bad. I have finished 2 books, which is good. The first book that I finished was Cat Among the Pumpkins by Mandy Morton. This was for my free space read for the readathon. Did I say that started? I feel like I didn't. The autumn mixtape has started. I had to miss the first, the opening live show because I could barely talk without coughing. So I'm very upset about that. But the other ladies did an amazing job. I will link it in the description. That was on Leanne's channel. Obviously, it'll be done by the time you see this, but they did sprints and stuff. So I will link that if you want to have a look. This is my free space / like favourite autumn song. Obviously, loads of my favourite autumn songs are already on the mixtape because I'm a host. But I chose The Best Day by Taylor Swift because that's got a lyric about running through a pumpkin patch. So I linked this in with that. And this is part of the #2 Feline Detective Agency series, as you can see from the very cool cover. And these are books set in a world where everybody is a cat, and we follow 2 characters. Is it Hetty? Yeah, Hetty and Tilly, who have a detective agency and they're on the case. And this time there's been a murder, as there always is, and then there's like a series of murders and they are trying to solve it, basically. These are fun. They're easy to read. It's been perfect for me this week when my brain's been like leaking out of my ears. This one I didn't love as much as the first one. I've read the first one and the 8th one, which I picked up by accident. Didn't realise it was the 8th in a series. This came out in 2014, so it does feel quite aged, and there's a few character choices that are made that feel a little bit stereotyping, which I didn't love. So yeah, this one I still enjoyed. It was still fun. I gave it 3 stars. I didn't like it as much as the others, but I definitely want to read the next in the series. It's just a very like cozy, comfy, loads of really nice descriptions of food type series. So yeah, that was a 3-star. And then I read my WITCH prompt, which was Cecily by Annie Garthwaite. So the WITCH prompt is the split prompt. So you either read A Woman in Total Control of Herself, as I did, or you read a witchy book. And this is all about Cecily. So it starts in 1431, and she was the mother of kings, and this is about the Wars of the Roses, but kind of the bit that came before the Wars of the Roses and then leading into the Wars of the Roses. And we're following Cecily, who was a complete WITCH. She was it was just so interesting. I found this really intriguing. She's not somebody I know loads about. Like I said, she was the mother of kings. She's mother of Edward IV and also Richard III. And Richard III is known for, or is infamous for, the princes in the Tower who disappeared under his, they were his nephews, disappeared under his watch. And he's also the king that was found buried under a car park a few years ago. He does feature in this as one of her 12 children, but like only a tiny bit towards the end. But I just found it really interesting. These people started cropping up towards the end and I was like, oh, I recognise that name and I know who that's going to turn out to be. So that was quite cool. This is very slow. It's quite dense. I had to do a lot of Googling because everybody is called like either Richard or Edward or Edmund or Anne or Elizabeth. So it did get a little bit confusing, and because my knowledge of this bit of history isn't as good as like Tudor history, I was a little bit lost sometimes. However, beautifully written, clearly like thoroughly researched, and I'll definitely read whatever she comes out with next. So yeah, gave that 4 stars, really enjoyed it. And then I've got a parcel to open. Obviously it's not how it came in the post. It came in a bag and stuff. I think this is Marianne from Copybooks. I think it was her that messaged me saying, oh, I've got a book, do you want it? But I'm not entirely sure, so let's have a look. But I just thought I'd open it on camera because it's so beautifully wrapped. Look at this. It might turn out to be somebody completely different now. One of my other friends, I don't know. So let's find out together. Oh, she's made it into a proper little parcel. Oh my goodness. Yeah, look at this. Oops. Ah, what's wrong with me today? It's so cute. So we've got an Options hot chocolate. I'm going to drink that in a minute. 5 dairy milk. I'm also going to make that in a minute. Oh, and another one of these. She sent me one of these before with a frog on it. So is this who I think it is? Yes, it is. So it says, Emily Bronte cauterised her own wound when she was bitten by a rabid dog. Not wanting to worry others, she used a red-hot poker and seared her flesh to the bone. Whoa. These are the Bookishly bookmarks, which I postmarks? No, postcards. And I put them on my classroom door at school. So yeah, you've got another one of those. And then she sent me The Intimacy Experiment. So this is by Rosie Dannon, the author of The Roommate, which I loved over the summer. I gave that an unexpected 5 stars. And I think this is a companion. Yeah, this is a companion novel. So one of the characters that we met in that was Naomi, and then this is following her story. So I'm really excited to read this. Can I fit this into this TBR? No, I cannot. But thank you very much, Marianne. I'm so excited to pick this up. It's the 9th of October and we've had such a nice weekend, as you have seen from the B-roll. So I went back to work on Friday, which turned out to be a bit of a mistake because I felt dreadful. But I think mentally I needed to go back Friday because having like 4 whole days off sick is not good as a teacher anyway. And also it was that thought of like Monday was going to be like 10,000 times harder if I didn't go back. So anyway, I went back, we got through the 8 lessons, everyone survived. Not sure it was my best teaching day, but I was there and we managed. And then I managed to get out of school early. Not early, I left at like 4 o'clock. Usually I leave school at about 6, so I guess I did get out early, but like more on time than normal. Got home and then Gary and I drove down to Weston-super-Mare and we spent the last like 2 days in the just comfiest, coziest little bubble, just the 2 of us. It was exactly what I needed. I also logged out of the internet on Friday. And I just had like 24 hours, 48 hours without the internet, which has also been really, really good for my brain. I think I've been getting too sucked into social media recently and I need to try and like redress the balance there. I think also when you're taking part as a host for a readathon, there's like a lot that goes on behind the scenes and I just needed a bit of time with just my husband. So it was good. I feel very rested and relaxed. I'm still quite coldy. I'm quite snotty is the word for it, really. Sorry, that's an overshare, but I'm still quite coldy. I've still got the cough, but I feel a lot better. And I also managed like 2 full nights of sleep, which has been wonderful because the worst thing for me is when I don't get enough sleep. So yes, I've had a lovely, lovely time. I did also finish a book on Thursday night. and that was The Woman in the Purple Skirt by Nasuku Imamura, and this was my prompt for translated book for the readathon. Sorry, that might happen throughout this clip. So this is my translated read, and we ended up doing kind of an accidental buddy read because Jean, Leanne and I all bought this book when we were together in Edinburgh in the spring, and then obviously when we came up with the translated prompt, I was like, this is translated, let's read this, because we had sorry, we'd always planned to read it together. And then obviously Amy got a copy as well. I think she has definitely read it. She's the first one of us to read it, and then quite a few people in the readathon are reading it as well, so that's been pretty cool. And this one sorry, this one is a strange little book. On the back it says, the woman in the purple skirt is being watched. Someone is following her, always perched just out of sight, monitoring which buses she takes, what she eats, whom she speaks to. But this invisible observer isn't a stalker. It's much more complicated than that. And that's what really, really drew me, and I was like, I need to know. This isn't the thriller that I thought it was going to be. Let's just say that. I don't want to say too much about it because it is really, really short and I don't want to accidentally spoil it. I did enjoy it. It just wasn't what I was expecting. And I gave it 3 stars because some questions I felt like were never answered. And it was an interesting look at loneliness and at Japanese culture and like Japanese work culture. I also just need to check who the translator was as well, because obviously it's translated fiction. So that was all really interesting. But yeah, it was translated by Lucy North. It just wasn't what I thought it was going to be. So I gave it 3 stars. You'll probably see this in an unhaul shortly because it's definitely not one I'll go back to. But it was interesting and it was a quick read. And that's another prompt done for the readathon. So I've only got 2 prompts left. So I will hopefully finish before the end of the readathon. And then I came home today to a very exciting delivery from the Little Bookish Company, which was some candles that I'd ordered. So Lauren is on Instagram. I will link her in the description, her Instagram page. Mostly because I can't remember off the top of my head right now because I'm such a terrible friend. Her Instagram is like one of the most beautifully aesthetic pages I've ever seen. And she reads some really interesting books. But she also runs a Little Bookish Company. And she does like... I'm going to cough again. This will make teaching fun this week. And she does candles and melts. I didn't buy any melts, so there were quite a few melts at the moment. I wanted some like full candles based on bookish stuff. So she did her Halloween drop and I went and had a look, and honestly I could have ordered the whole like range. Hang on 1 second. Sorry, I just had to have a massive cough. It's so annoying. Yeah, I could have had the whole range, but you know, money is the constraint. So I ordered 2 from her Halloween drop and then 1 from like the others, because again I could have had so many. She's also got her Christmas drop coming, which I'm very excited for. So I will link her website in the description. I think it's an Etsy store, but I will link it in the description because I wanted all the things. And these have arrived. So I got the non-Halloweeny one that I went with was Study with Rory, obviously from Gilmore Girls. Can we focus? Probably not. And this is green tea and mint. And all of them, oh, smells so good. Like, that's going to be perfect when I'm marking. It's just, like, really clean and fresh and lovely. And all of them have got glitter in. So very excited. Obviously, all hand-poured and stuff. Then we've got the 2 Halloweeny ones that I went for. So I went for Formula 86. I actually don't know what the reference is there for Halloween. I'm not very good at, like, horror films and stuff. But this is Nag Champia and Amber. I love candles with amber in the autumn winter. And that... oh, that smells like, it smells a bit like the Twilight Bath Bomb. It's sweet, but then also it's got that like muskiness underneath, like good musky. I'm rubbish at describing scents. That's really lovely. And again, it's got the like purpley bluey glitter in it, which is lovely. And then my favourite one, I feel like this is going to be one that I'll reorder if she does it again. This is The Other Mother from Coraline. And this is lemon cookies and toasted marshmallows. And oh, I want to eat this so badly. This smells so good, and it's got, yeah, more glitter in there. So that was a very nice, exciting thing to come home to. Plan for the rest of the day: laundry, Sunday afternoon chores. I need to find my mum, and then I'm going to run myself a bath and curl up with a book. So I'm currently reading The 10,000 Doors of January, and then so I need to read that one, and then I've got my graphic novel, which is Bloom, and then I'm done with the readathon. So I'm excited for that. So yeah, I'm going to curl up, read, cook a curry tonight, and then it's back to school tomorrow. It's the 15th of October, and this is a really unglamorous background, which, sorry about that, but this is the current reality of my life. I've still got the cough, so I apologise in advance. It's Saturday. I am about to go live for mixtape sprints. I'm going to be marking, so they're like productivity / reading sprints. And this is the background that I've got, but I can't really do anything about it, so it is what it is. It's been another long week, and we've got the news this week that we've got a departmental deep dive after half term, which is stressful. But it is what it is. And yeah, today I'm marking. It's about 10 o'clock. Is it about 10 o'clock? Yeah, about 10:30, because I'm going live at 11. I've already been up and marking since 8, and it's going to be a very long day. So I thought I might as well have like some company whilst I was doing that, which is why I've turned it into productivity sprints. And yeah, as always on a weekend, jumping on to do an update, because I finished 3 books. I bought 1 book myself. I've had 2 sent by publishers, and someone has sent me a parcel. So let's go through these. So first book that I finished, this was for Nature on the Cover, obviously. This is The 10,000 Doors of January by Alex E. Harrow. This was her debut novel. I read, thankfully it's in the back there, Once and Future Witches by her. I think it was earlier this year, possibly the end of last year, and really enjoyed it. And this was her debut. And this was very kindly sent to me. I think it was Kay. Sent this to me. Where's the slip? Kirsty, sorry, from Kate Beth Bookish for Christmas, which is really kind of her. And this one, I didn't love it. It was a bit slow for me and a bit too whimsical. We're following January, who we're in, like, I'm not even sure where we are in time, like the 1800s or something. Sorry. She's grown up without her mother. Her father is off. He's an adventurer. He goes and collects artifacts, and she stays behind with his boss in his massive house, and she kind of feels like an artifact herself. And then she starts to discover doors, and that's really all I'm going to tell you about the story. It's kind of a coming of age, coming into your own power, discovering the world kind of story with a bit of magic. But for me, like I said, it was just all vibes, no substance. I think was how I felt about it, and it was really slow. So it was okay. I gave it 3 stars. I definitely enjoyed her second book more. I will read more from her because this was her debut, so I will read more because I did enjoy, what did I say was the Once and Future Witches. So I will read more from her, but this one wasn't really quite the one for me. Then my reread for the month, which I read on audio, was Gather the Daughters by Jenny Malamede. I read this a couple of years ago. I gave it 4 stars. I've given it 4 stars a second time. This is incredibly, incredibly dark. Please check trigger warnings for this book, particularly for eating disorder and sexual abuse and child abuse and a few other things. Traumatic birth scenes, death in childbirth, loss of infants. It's really dark. Sorry, my cable's now falling off the desk. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. The way she writes is incredible. I really need to pick up more from this author. I'd really recommend the audiobook as well. Sorry. Really recommend the audiobook as well, but check trigger warnings. It's difficult to explain this. We're on a small island, and there's a rural community that live a very kind of traditional life. They live by the rules of their ancestors, and every single summer the children are let out for their summer of freedom, and they don't come back. Basically, they go out on the first day that the rains first come, and then they don't come back until the first frost. And we're kind of following some of the girls that live in this community, and then one of them discovers something that kind of shocks all of them. I really enjoyed this. I think it does slightly wander off from its genre partway through and tries to become something else, and then comes back to what it was originally, which is why it's a 4 star. But if you like books like, well, it's got The Handmaid's Tale on the front here, if you like books like that, or The Water Cure, or what else, like that kind of genre of like feminist dystopia, I'd recommend it. But like I've said a few times, trigger warnings for this one, because there's a lot going on. So yeah, there was that. And then my last book for the readathon, this was my unseasonal read. This is Bloom by Kevin Panetta and Savannah Ganeshow. I hope I've said that correctly. This was gifted to me by the lovely Cat from Brews and Reviews, and I asked for recommendations for graphic novels that are like Heartstopper. And if I just do that, you can probably see why this was recommended. It's really heavy. We're following two boys. We're following, is it Ari? I think it's Ari, yes, whose family owns a bakery, and he is desperate to move away and like set up his own life and live in the city with his friends and be a musician, all that kind of stuff. But his father says that he can't leave unless he finds him a replacement, because his dad needs help in the bakery. And so he hires Hector, that was it. And the two of them kind of have this friendship, and then it's a romance. So I was kind of expecting lots of like cute romance vibes with loads of baking. It's not quite that. I've given it 3 stars. I really didn't like Ari. He makes really stupid decisions, and I know that he's a 17-year-old teenage boy, but he felt quite bratty all the way through. I also feel like it's skipped around a lot. You're suddenly like 2 months later and it's like, wait, what happened in the middle? So it didn't quite give me Heartstopper vibes. It's in a similar vein, and I really like the art style, but for me it just didn't quite connect. And then also the ending felt really rushed. So that was a 3-star, and that was the end of my readathon reading. So that's good. I've now completed all the prompts for the reading. In terms of other prompts, I need to watch an autumnal film, which I'm going to do this afternoon whilst I'm marking. And I also need to do your favourite autumnal, can't remember, tradition, I think that's the word we used. And I'm going to clear out my wardrobe, which sounds like a weird thing to do and be excited about, but there's something about rearranging my wardrobe for a different season that I find deeply satisfying. So doing really well for the readathon, so that's nice. Then I got a pre-order in that I'd completely forgotten about. Love when this happens. And this is the Heartstopper yearbook. I'm not even really sure what this is, except I saw it announced on Twitter and I was like, I need that. So I ordered it ages ago. This is beautiful hardback. I'm obsessed with the cover. Look, it's just the cutest thing. And this book brings Nick and Charlie's universe to life in full colour, packed with exclusive content from Alice Oseman. So I'm just really excited to sit and read through this at some point. Possibly this month. I might put it into my November TBR, but yeah, I treated myself to that. And then the lovely people at Book Break, let's just move some of these books out of the way. Lovely people at Book Break sent me 2 books through, which was fantastic. The first is The Luckiest Girl Alive by Jessica Knoll. This has just been made into a Netflix film, and it says a perfect life is a perfect lie. Annie Fanelli is the woman who has it all: the glamorous job, the designer wardrobe, the handsome and rich fiance, but behind her sharp edges and meticulously crafted facade lies the darkest of past. And that's where I'm going to stop there. This just looks like a really fun thriller. The book's already out, but this is the Netflix cover. And then a book I was really excited for, they've sent me the Sunbearer Trials by Aidan Thomas. I've not read an Aidan Thomas before, I don't think, but they're an author I've been really interested in. I think I did try to read Lost in the Neverwoods and I didn't like it on audio and put it down, but this looks really interesting. I love this cover. I think this is a finished copy. It doesn't have a date on it, so I'm assuming it is. Yeah, this looks like a finished copy. And this just caught my eye because it kind of gave me like Percy Jackson vibes. And it says, welcome to the Sunbearer Trials, a competition between 10 of the very best semi-dioses, where the winner will be celebrated and the loser will be sacrificed. So that just sounds really fun. Sometimes I like a little bit of YA fantasy, and I think this will like fill that brief for me. So that was very lovely of Book Break. And then Some Nice Human has sent me this parcel. It arrived a couple of days ago, but I just haven't had the energy, it's a good start, to be on camera. And I wanted to open it on camera so you can see me butcher the packaging, so that whoever sent it can see me open it. Oh my goodness, why am I so bad at this? Also, Savannah's on the windowsill there, so I feel like there's going to be a crash any second. Right, what have we got? Ooh. Oh. Okay, this is very exciting. Who sent me that? So, oh, it's from Olivia Savannah. So this is from Olivia Savannah at Olivia's Catastrophe. This is A Certain Kind of Hunger by Chelsea G. Summers. And I heard a couple of people talk about this, and a couple of people recommended it to me because I like Tender as the Flesh so much, because I think this is about a serial killer who eats their victims, and it's a female one. Dorothy Daniels has never been shy about indulging her exquisite taste, even when it led to her plunging an ice pick into her lover's neck. There is something inside Dorothy that she's finally ready to confess. But beware, her story just might make you wonder how your lover would taste sautéed with shallots and mushrooms and deglazed with a little red wine. This looks so much fun. Oh my goodness, why did she send me this? I thought to send you a little something just because you're wonderful, and I wanted to remind you of that, from Olivia Savannah. Olivia, thank you so much. I will obviously have messaged you by the time this video goes up, so thank you. This looks like so much fun, and also, how good is that cover? I haven't had a 5-star read in 17 books. I haven't had a 5-star read since August, so could this be a 5-star read? It's the 22nd of October and it's half term. We made it. We made it through the first term of the year. Sorry, I've got like, anybody else with a fringe, like you cut your fringe and then occasionally a random like really long bit of hair just turns up and is like, you forgot to cut me. That's my life right now. Also, I really love these. They're so comfy, these snag dungarees, but these, I can't think what the word is. They're quite difficult to use. And I think I look a bit wonky. But anyway, it's half term. Yay. Almost all of the footage you've just seen was taken last weekend. I went and met up with Chloe, which was so fun. We had like giant pizzas. I've never seen a pizza that big in real life. It was genuine. It was like a duvet of pizza. And we had such a nice time just catching up and stuff. She's working really super hard at the moment on her exams. And it was just nice to catch sight of her. And she's going to come to my house in December, which is exciting. Going to cook her a roast. Introduce her to my husband and the cats and the books. Charlie won't be here, which is a shame. But yeah, that's exciting. And then it's just been the last week of term, which is just always complete insanity. The kids were only until Thursday. And then yesterday was inset day. So we had training for about 2 hours in the morning. And then I spent all day in my room marking books. Like all day. I marked 156 books yesterday. Got them all up to date. Got the right stickers on the front and on the inside. Fellow teachers, particularly in the UK, will know what I'm talking about with that. So that's all done. However, I have 4 sets of assessments that I need to mark over the half-term week. So I've definitely brought work home with me, but that's how it goes sometimes. And yeah, it's a knock-on effect of me being off sick earlier in the month. Here comes Sav. Thanks for that. I'm going to leave that in. Yeah, so I've definitely got work to do next week. However, it's the weekend. We don't have Charlie yet. I pick him up on Monday morning. So Gary and I are going to go out for brunch this morning and treat him to brunch to say thank you for looking after his ridiculous wife during the first term of the year. So we're going to go and do that. Maybe have a little browse in Waterstones. I'm not buying any books and I'll explain why in a minute. And then I'm going to cook a stew tonight. And then tomorrow, again, will just be a slow, quiet day. I want to, like, clean my bookshelves. I need to rearrange my TBR shelf. Again, I'll talk about that in a minute. And I want to swap my wardrobe around from, like, at the moment, it's, like, some summery stuff and some autumn stuff. So I need to swap it into full, like, winter mode, basically. Because the weather has definitely turned and I'm so happy about it. I love it. Give me a rainy day, any day. Yeah, so that's what's happening this weekend. And then next week, we've got Charlie all week, which is amazing. Pick him up Monday. Going to take him for breakfast because that's always how we start half-term holidays. And then I haven't got loads planned for him. I need to have my flu jab on Monday. Tuesday, his grandparents are taking him to the cinema. Wednesday, we have no plans. Thursday, we're going pumpkin picking. Thursday and Friday Gary's off, so Thursday we're going to go pumpkin picking. And then Friday we're going to go and meet my mum and hopefully my brother, and we're going to take grandma with us for mum's birthday, which is on Saturday. And then Saturday we're going to go, the 3 of us are going to go to mini golf and back to the place I went to in Bristol with Chloe for the giant pizzas, because the boys were like, we need to go immediately. And then Sunday I'm going to cook a roast. His stuff's down here now. Yeah, so that's what's going to happen the next week. And I also, in between all of that, need to get these assessments marked. So it's going to be busy, but at least I can like mark assessments in my pyjamas. I don't know, can you see her? No, she's currently chewing a toy on the floor. So yeah, that's everything that's been going on. That's life updates. And then I had a massive box arrive from Book Break, and I was a bit naughty because I knew it was from Book Break, so I should have left it and opened it on camera. But I'd had a particularly rough ride from a few kids that day, and I was like, I'm going to open this for the serotonin hit. So they sent me 4 books and a bit of swag, which is very exciting. So I'll start with this book, which I'm really I'm excited for all of these. This is why I requested them. This is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry. And this just sounds really cute. I always say I don't read fantasy, but certain types of fantasy I'm really into, and this sounds really cozy. And just really lovely. I'm also obsessed with this cover. So it just says high fantasy, low stakes with a double shot of coffee. And I think it's about a orc barbarian opening a coffee shop or something. And I think it's going to be like romantic. It says it's a charming, heartwarming slice of life fantasy about found family and fresh starts. Those are some of my buzzwords. Perfect for readers who love cozy fantasies like The House on the Cerulean Sea, yes, by TJ Klune, or Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher. I haven't read Nettle and Bone, but I loved House on the Cerulean Sea. So I'm very excited for this. This feels very cozy, and I can't pick it up right now because once I finish my current reads, I need to start a vlog project, but I'm really excited to get to this soon. I think this is already, oh no, it comes out in November. And then I've got a couple of thrillery ones. This one comes out in February. This is Other Women by Emma Flint, and it says on the front, a husband, a wife, a lover, each has a secret they'd kill to protect. And I'm not going to read any more than that because I just want to pick it up. I don't think I've read Emma Flint before, but this comes out on the 16th of February, so I'll be reading that in January. And then coming out in March is Red Queen by, I'm definitely going to say this wrong, Juan Gomez Jurado. Hopefully I made a decent stab of that. I will look up how to say it. And it says, you've never met anyone like her. And I think this is a bit, it says Killing Eve meets the girl with the dragon tattoo with a dash of Silence of the Lambs in this internationally best-selling thriller series with over 2 million copies sold and an Amazon Prime show adaptation in the works. Red Queen is a sharp, addictive read with characters you'll never forget. And then at the top it says the serial killer thriller series that's taken the world by storm. So again, I don't really want to read too much into this. Very cool cover, especially if it's, you know, just an arc. I love when they make such an effort. So that's out in March, so I'll be reading that in February. And then the last one they sent me isn't an arc. It's this gorgeous finished hardback copy of Kate Moss's Warrior Queens and Quiet Revolutionaries, How Women Also Built the World. I am obsessed with this this cover, and like look at the end pages, like I can't even. So this is non-fiction, I think. Yeah, so you'll meet nearly 1,000 women whose names deserve to be better known. From the mothers of invention and the trailblazing women at the bar, warrior queens and pirate commanders, the women who dedicated their lives to the natural world or to medicine, those women of courage who resisted and fought for what they believed, to the unsung heroes of stage, screen and stadium. It is global, travelling the world and spanning all periods of time. It's an also intensely moving detective story of the author's own family history as Kate Moss pieces together the forgotten life of her great-grandmother, oh, here's moles, Lily Watson, a famous and highly successful novelist in her day who has all but disappeared from the record. I just think that sounds amazing. Hello, Molly. This is Molly's little bushy tail. If I pick her up, she'll probably run away. Oh! Scratch break. You can also see how tiny she is because she's not even as high as this very small scratching post. She's up there now. Yeah, this just sounds amazing, and obviously it's a beautiful hardback. It's got this like matte finish. I'm fully obsessed. And then to go with that, they sent me a bit of swag. They sent me a t-shirt which says Quiet Revolutionary, and I think you could choose. When I requested the book, they were like, oh, are you a warrior queen or a Quiet Revolutionary? And I was like, I'm not sure, so I went with Quiet Revolutionary. And I'm gonna wear this so much. It's really good quality as well. So yeah, nice bit of swag. And a stack of books, free books from a publisher, because I'm so incredibly lucky to start off half term. It's the 23rd of October, and yes, I know I look like an egg, but I care not. This is what I look like this morning. We had such a nice day yesterday, as you saw from the B-roll. Went and got brunch, had a little mooch in Waterstones. I didn't buy any books, and then I read all afternoon. It's absolutely dreamy. We had massive thunderstorms last night, so I was up early with the cats, and unfortunately Gary's woken up and he's feeling rubbish today, so I'm really hoping he doesn't have the virus. He's got a virus, clearly, because he's not very well, but it's a bit of a worry. We haven't got anything planned today anyway, so I'm just getting some housework stuff done, hence the fact I look like an egg. And then once I've done the stuff I have to do, I'm going to clear out my books, because that makes me happy as a nerdy little bookworm. So I will try and take some footage of that, and I'm going to go through my TBR, because I feel like there are loads of books on there that I don't want to read anymore, and I need to be quite brutal with it. I definitely hesitate over getting rid of books sometimes, especially if they've been gifted, because I feel guilty. But also, reading tastes change, and I'm feeling quite slumpy with my reading. I am reading, but I'm feeling quite slumpy about it, and I feel like my TBR needs a refresh. So yeah, I haven't decided yet. Well, I'm definitely going to go through and unhaul some stuff, because I can, even just standing there, I can see some books that can come out. I might change the configuration of it. I'm not sure. I'm also going to clear out my clothes. So that's how exciting my life is. But I did finish 2 books yesterday. First book is An Ocean Apart by Sarah Lee. This came out in September, I think. I got a late arc at the end of September. I'm pretty sure. Maybe it doesn't say. I think it's September anyway that it came out. And this has been my school reading book for the last term, because I always have a book at school to be reading when we're doing like silent reading or library lessons and stuff, so I can model the behaviour that I would like to see from the kids. And this is really good. I really enjoyed this. This is a debut, and it says on the front, "Call the Midwife meets Small Island." And Sarah Lee's mother was part of the Windrush generation who came over from the Caribbean. Yeah, from the Caribbean. To basically set up the NHS. We follow 2 or 3 different girls in this, women in this, who are coming across from the Caribbean to be nurses in the NHS. We're following their training, their lives, their romantic lives. It's really cosy. It's really just lovely. It's really nicely written. It did feel a little bit slow in places, and I was a bit like, can we please get on with the story? And I felt like there were a couple of places where it could have gone a bit further. I gave it 3 stars, very much enjoyed it. It's very cozy. I feel like if you like Called the Midwife or Small Island, like those kinds of things, you'll really like this. I will definitely look for more from her. I'm kind of hoping this will be a series, because by the end I did really care about the characters and what was going on with them. So yeah, 3 stars, enjoyed that. And then another arc that I was reading from Book Break this month is A Restless Truth by Freya Mask. This is the sequel to A Marvellous Light. I can't remember what the actual series is called. And this comes out on the 10th of November. Firstly, just a minute for the cover. I mean, this is just the arc, like the finished copy is even more beautiful. It's got like gold foiling and stuff. But this is so pretty. And yeah, this is the second book, so it's a little bit difficult to tell you about it, but it's not really a second, it's like a companion novel, but the storyline from the first story is carrying on. This is based in, I think it's Victorian London is the timeline. Does it say? No. And it's in a world where magic is real, and magic is linked to cradling, so a bit like cat's cradling with like string, like when you were kids. I love the magic system in this. And in this one we are on a ship, and I can't tell you too much about the storyline because it carries on from the first one, but the sister of one of the characters from the first book, Maud, it is Maud, isn't it? Yes. Has been sent on a mission. She is kind of undercover as a lady's maid, and then the lady that she is supposed to be looking after is murdered, and it's about her trying to find out who killed this woman. And along the way she kind of gets gathered up into kind of like a found family, like ragtag team of people and misfits, and they are trying to solve this murder and work out something from the first book. And I know that's super vague, but I don't want to give spoilers. I thoroughly enjoyed this. This is Sapphic. Maud meets, what is her name? Violet. I'm terrible at character names. And more, it's about Maud discovering herself. It's, like I said, it's Sapphic. It's a Sapphic love story. There's definitely some very spicy bits in this, as with the first one, which I think surprised people in the first one. So there are several spicy scenes in this between Maud and Violet, which I thought were done really well. And yeah, on the back it's got a quote from TJ Klune which says, "The prose is sublime, delightfully queer." I would completely agree. I love Freya Marsk's writing style. She can write really funny, really sarcastic characters. She characterizes really well. As soon as you meet someone, you've got a really clear image of them in your head. And a bit like this, I just felt like the pace wandered a bit, and when you got such an exciting mystery as there is in this, I was just like, can we get on with it, please? And there were several scenes where like the characters were gathering together to like debrief each other, but they were just repeating what we'd already seen. So I felt like that dragged a little bit. So I gave it 4 stars rather than 5, but I did really enjoy this, and I'm very excited for the next book, but I don't think that's out until next November. So if I'm lucky enough to get an ARC from Book Break, that will be like next September time. But thoroughly enjoyed this and would highly recommend it. And now I am off to do chores and be nerdily excited about clearing out my bookshelves. It's the 26th of October and I have so much to update you on because I haven't felt like filming for the last few days. So it's now Thursday. Charlie and I have had a good start to like first half of our half term. We went for breakfast in Wells. I can't remember when I last sat down and updated you, so I might be repeating myself here. And then I had my flu jab on Monday afternoon, which made me feel dreadful until literally this morning. So that's fun. But he went to the cinema with Nanny and Grandad and was very spoiled, and then went for Nando's. So he had a lovely time Tuesday. And then yesterday we just chilled at home. He got some homework done. And I've been marking like a demon in between. I've now finished my marking. And just as an indication of how busy I've been, what I needed in order to be on top of my workload was a full week away from the kids. Yeah. But that's done now, which is good, and Gary's now off with us for today, tomorrow, and then over the weekend. Today we're going pumpkin picking, which I'm very excited for. However, it has been monsooning here for the last couple of days, and yeah, it could be like a slip and slide. I will try and get some B-roll footage, obviously, but that might be limited if I'm trying to stay on my feet. But it should be a good laugh. I've also swapped out my summer and winter wardrobes, and I've rediscovered my collection of jumpers. I'm fully obsessed with this one. It's so soft. This came last year from one of my STITCHFIX boxes, which I've mentioned a couple of times, and I'm not at all sponsored. I wish I was. STITCHFIX, if you want to work with me, please do. I love your product. It's just something I started using during the initial stage of the pandemic, when I realised that I needed new clothes for being a teacher, but couldn't go anywhere. So Stitch Fix is a kind of curated box of clothes that they send you. It's an app, and you fill in like a style thing, and then every day you can go on and like thumbs up or thumbs down certain items of clothing so you can get an idea of your style. You ask them for specific things, so you might ask for like a thin jumper because this is quite thin, I can layer it really nicely, or a jumpsuit or whatever it is. They send you a box with 5 items in. There's a £10 charge for sending that to you, but if you keep anything in the box, that's taken off the price. If you keep everything, there's also a discount. But you basically try everything on. Anything you don't like, you send it back. You could send back the whole box if you want. But yeah, I always love it. I've had I like 6 or 7 boxes I think now. I usually allow myself like 2 or 3 a year because it's not the cheapest thing. You can set your pricing for your items. For me, a box of 5 things is usually around £200 mark, so it is expensive, but I love the stuff they send. I love the service. It's great quality. This is not an ad. I will, however, leave a discount code that everybody gets that uses Stitch Fix in the description. If you use that, you get £15 off your first box, and I get £15 off my next box. So, you know, if you want to help me with my collection of jumpers, use that code. That's not what I came on to talk about, but like I said, I've swapped out my summer and winter wardrobes. I've also unhauled 10 books from my unread TBR, and I've finished 6 books since I last spoke to you, and I've got an Amazon parcel from my wish list. So we've got quite a lot to talk about. Let's talk about my TBR first. It got to that point where it was just growing and growing and growing, and it was stressing me out. And I know people have a different size TBRs, that's totally fine, whatever works for other people is great, but for me it was making me uncomfortable. So I decided to clean my shelves, and then as I was cleaning, I was looking at the books and I was like, I don't think I want to read that anymore, I don't think I want to read that anymore. And now we've got 10 books I've unhauled. And you know what? I feel so much better for it. I'm excited about the books left on my shelf. I'm feeling more inspired with my reading, as you'll know, because I finished 6 books in, when did I talk to you? Like Sunday, like 4 days. And yeah, it's just really helped reinvigorate my reading. So if you're in a reading slump or feeling slumpy, I would really recommend having a look at the books on your shelves and seeing if there's some that you could maybe trim out. Sorry for the cut, I had to sneeze. And I don't mind like coughing and stuff in videos, but I feel like nobody needs to see me sneeze. So I've now also got Sav and Mole in the room. You can already hear Savannah climbing over stuff, so this is probably about to get chaotic. So let's talk about 10 books that I've taken off my TBR. Some of these were sent to me by publishers. Some of them were gifted to me by my brother, 2 of them. Sorry, Ben. Some I took out of Leanne's unhaul pile, and some I bought myself. And basically, I'm not going to explain each of these 10 because we'll just be here for ages. The basic theme is I thought I wanted to read it and I don't anymore. I have tried the first couple of pages of each of these and they're a definite no, not for me, or not for me like right now. So let's go through these quickly. So from my brother, he lent me Murder in Mesopotamia by Agatha Christie. That's a Poirot story. I historically don't love Poirot stories. I'm more of a Miss Marple person, and I feel like this is a beautiful edition that he lent me. I feel like if I want to read it, I can get it on audiobook. He also lent me The King's Minion by Raphael Sabatini, which is a really hard book to find apparently. Again, this is his copy, but I just didn't gel with it. 2 books I bought myself from charity shops: Her Fearful Symmetry by Audrey Niffenegger and Frederick Buckman, Anxious People. Again, I was excited to read both of these, but I've just kind of lost interest and the first couple of pages didn't grab me. I'm trying to make a fairly neatish pile. Luckiest Girl Alive by Jessica Knoll. You saw me haul this earlier in the month because it was very kindly sent to me by Book Break. Turns out I've already read it. I thought it sounded familiar and had a look on GoodReads, and I gave it 4 stars when it first came out, but I don't need to read it again. And as soon as I saw my review, it's spoiler free, but I remembered what the twist was. I think Sav's coming down now. Yeah, there she is. Go now. Come on then. So what I've done over the last couple of days whilst I've been marking is I watched the Netflix show, which I enjoyed. It is super dark, massive content warnings for rape and sexual assault. But yeah, I don't need to read this again, so thank you very much, Book Break. I'm sorry that I asked you to send me a book I'd already read. A book that I got in Secret Santa at work last year was The Bean Trees by Barbara Kingsolver. This looks interesting and it's short, but again, I read the first few pages and was kind of like, So I'm putting that one down because anything I'm not excited about is no longer on my TBR. 2 that I took from Leanne's unhaul pile is The Wolf and the Woodsman by Ava Reid. Look at these sprayed edges. And Somebody's Daughter by Ashley C. Ford. This is a memoir, as you can see on the front, non-fiction, and this is a YA fantasy. I think I got overexcited by how pretty this is because it is beautiful. Is there anything under the dust jacket? Let's have a quick look. But I don't think I'm in the market. Oh yeah, look. Will you tell me a story, Wolf Girl? Oh, this is pretty. But I'm not really in the market for YA fantasy anymore. I've kind of stopped trying. So yeah, I just don't think that one's going to be for me on reflection. And this one again looks interesting, but it also is quite intense, and I don't think my brain can take that at the moment. Then another one that BookBreak sent me, very kindly, finished copy, is The Attic Girl by Lola J. I've heard mixed things about this, and then I saw Aoife from Words of Clover give it kind of a lukewarm review, and usually her and I have very similar reading tastes, and it's huge. And I read the first few pages and I just wasn't feeling it, so that's going out. And then Our Violet Ends by Chloe Gong. I do feel a bit guilty about this because this was gifted to me, but I read the first one last year. I think I gave it 4 stars, but I also remember being a little bit bored in the middle, and I just don't think I care about YA. This is fantasy, basically urban fantasy, and it's a retelling of Romeo and Juliet, which is why I picked up the first one, but I don't think I care anymore, so that's also going out. So there we go, a quick unhaul. And then books that I finished in the last few days, my reading, honestly. I was supposed to, this week, be doing a themed reading vlog, my first one ever, and I've decided just not to. I'm still going to read the books at some point, but probably not in a vlog. I just didn't feel like filming or being on camera, and I decided not to push myself. So I ditched the rest of my TBR, and then I picked up these. So the first one that I read was The Other Ones by Fran Hart. This was very kindly sent to me. Oh, it matched my jumper very nicely. By the people at Chicken House. And this one is very Heartstopper vibes, but Halloween. We've got, is it 4 kids? Yeah, we've got Sal, who lives in a haunted house. We've got Dirk, who's his best friend, who's kind of a jock, sporty guy, quite popular, but he hangs out with Sal anyway. We've got Elsie, who was part of the popular crowd, and then she does something, or something happens to her and she gets cast out. And then we've got Pax, who's my new favourite cinnamon roll character. He basically moves to this small town, things happen, and the 4 of them kind of end up forming this found family. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be, but I loved what it was. It's very much about family, love, grief. Sal and Pax form a relationship, so it's also about Sal kind of coming to understand his sexuality. I loved their relationship. It was just a really lovely, unexpectedly emotional time, and I gave it 4 stars. So yeah, really enjoyed that. Thank you very much, Chicken House. I will definitely look for more from that author. Then I read the illustrated The Wonderful Wizard of Oz by L. Frank Baum. This is the Mina Lima illustrated edition that my husband got me for my birthday, and it's just one of the most beautiful things you've ever seen. These are fully interactive, so I'm not going to show the interactive elements because I don't want to spoil people for if they pick it up, but I will show you some of the illustrations because they are absolutely stunning. Let's do it from when we get a bit further in. So the first bit is all in grey and white because she's in Kansas, but then as she gets to Oz, the colour illustrations kick in. Oh, that's one of the bits of cards that protects the interactive bits falling out. So it's just absolutely beautiful. I adore these editions. I've got a whole collection of these now because I'm super lucky, and they're genuinely some of my favourite things that I own. So yeah, I love this. The reading experience and the illustrated interactive elements was definitely 5 stars, but the story isn't my favourite, so I've given it a 4. Then I read the audiobook of The Gifts That Bind Us by Caroline O'Donoghue. This was a book that I saw Leanne from Leanne Rose talking about loads last year. This is the sequel. The first one, I always forget what the first one's called. Our Hidden Gifts. Yeah, I think it's Our Hidden Gifts is the first one. And we're in Ireland and we're following Maeve, and in the first book she finds this pack of tarot cards and she does a reading for her friend Lily, and then Lily disappears, and it's about what happens after that. This is the second book, so obviously can't talk too much about it. Another stunning cover. But what I really like about this is that Maeve feels like a real teenager. She makes stupid decisions, she's selfish, she takes wrong turns. She doesn't mean to be, she's not a horrible person, but she's just that kind of inherently selfish teenager where she thinks she's at the centre of everything. And I really enjoyed that. I'd also highly recommend the audiobook. That really brought it to life. And yeah, I gave this 4 stars. I can't wait for the 3rd book. I don't think it's out until next year though. So that was another 4-star read. Then I read The Vacation by John Mars. This was sent to me by BookBreak. This one turned out to be a little bit of a disappointment. I gave it 3 stars. I didn't hate it. However, I thought it was a new John Marrs book, and it isn't. It's a republish of one that he wrote in 2015, when it was published as Welcome to Wherever You Are. And you can tell, you can tell this was written before the one, which I loved. This is set at a hostel in California, and we are following, in Los Angeles, and we are following a whole series of different characters, and they've all got their own secrets, and they've all got things going on. It was really pacey. You can see in this how well he can weave multiple strands together, but some of it just didn't quite land for me. So I gave it 3 stars. There were some interesting twists. I did see most of them coming, and I felt like some of them were kind of clumsily done. But if you're looking for an easy, pacey read, this is 500 pages, or is it just over 500 pages? No, it's just about 500 pages, and I read it in 2 sittings. I read it in 24 hours. Yeah. So if you're looking for something pacey and easy to read, I would recommend this one. Just don't expect it to be as good as the one. Then I picked up Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell and Faith Erin Hicks. This was very kindly sent to me by the lovely Chloe. Chloe reads books. She was unhauling it. She's so cute, look. I loved this, and no, I'm spitting, sorry. I loved this one. This was so cute. This is about 2 friends who work at the pumpkin patch every single year. This is their last year before they leave for university or college, and this is their last night there, and they go on this mission, and that is all I will say. This was adorable. This was perfect. I read this yesterday. This was the perfect, like, autumn vibes book. I really like how it's done. The art style's lovely. This isn't a spoilery section, but look how cute it is. I love the 2 characters. You've got a bisexual main character. She's also what was her name? Deja, and she's also plus size. And then we've got just Josiah, who is the guy. And I just thought this was lovely. Again, gave it 4 stars. Really enjoyed my time with it. And then I read, in less than 24 hours, Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. This was sent to me for Christmas by the lovely Hilary at Melted Books. I was watching Gavin's Second Chance thriller author video, which I'll link in the description. Really enjoyed that. He was reading a Riley Sager, not even this one, but the way he was talking about Riley Sager, I was like, I've got a Riley Sager on my shelf. I'm gonna have to go and read this now. And I really enjoyed this. We're following, I literally finished this morning, Jules, who has lost her job. Her boyfriend's cheating on her. She's got nowhere to go. She sees an ad for an apartment sitter in New York, and she goes, and it's this incredible building just over the road from Central Park, and she's paid like a ridiculous amount of money to live there for 3 months. And then something weird is going on in the building, and I actually knew the twist before I picked this book up, because there are certain people on Twitter who don't tell you when they're going to give you a spoiler for books. I don't follow those people anymore, but I did know what the twist was. But actually, I think reading it whilst knowing the twist made it better, because I could spot all these little clues, and I was like, oh, that probably means that. So I really, really enjoyed this. I was really tense. Even though I knew what was going on, I was really, really tense, particularly towards the end. And I just really enjoyed how it was done. So again, I gave it 4 stars, had a thoroughly lovely time. Thank you very much, Hilary. So those are the books I finished in the last couple of days. Still no 5 stars. However, I am excited about reading again, which is nice. And then this arrived a couple of days ago. It's definitely a book, or a really big chocolate bar. And it's got What Victoria Read on it, so it's from my wishlist. So some lovely person has sent this. It has taken me a couple of days to open it, for which I apologise, but I wanted to open it on camera and I haven't felt like filming. So let's open this now and see what lovely person has sent me. Something. Oh yes. Okay, let's find. Okay, who's this from? Oh, it's from Laura. Laura's Bookish Thoughts. Happy half term. Hope you enjoy a well-deserved rest. You too, Laura, because she's also a teacher. She's amazing. And yeah, half term, it's a weird one when it's just a week. It's not really a rest. It's more like a pause in the insanity. But yes, let's see what she's sent me. She's so lovely. Oh, good choice. She has sent me Bernadine Evaristo, Mr. Loverman. I read... What was the one that I read from Evaristo this year? Is there a list? I could really do with a list of her books. It was the... Oh no, there isn't. I really enjoyed it. Is it here? I feel like it might be in this stack somewhere. I can't remember. Anyway, I read that. The Emperor's Babe, that was the one. And this was the next one I really wanted to read, because this is about Barrington Jebediah Walker, Barry to his friends, trouble to his wife. And I think it's about a man who's lived as a straight man for 60 years, but he's also been having a love affair with a man, and it's about what happens to them, I think. So yeah, I'm really excited for this. Thank you very much, Laura. That's really, really kind of you. I'm now going to go and put my waterproofs on and go and slide around in the mud and pick some pumpkins. It's the 28th of October and I'm very excited to be jumping in because after about 26 reads and 2 months, I finally had a 5-star read. Finally! I was starting to wonder if there was something wrong with me. I mean, there probably are lots of things wrong with me, but I loved this. This is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry. This version of it releases in November. When is it? Which date? The 10th of November. This was sent to me by Book Break. And I say this version because it was originally indie published or self-published, and then Shauna Maguire read it, loved it, and made so much noise about it that Tor have picked it up and traditionally published it. So first of all, I'm obsessed with this cover. I'm definitely going to need a finished copy. Verily, we're doing the most stunning edition. I want it so bad, but anyway. I loved this, and this is a high fantasy book. So I don't know what's going on. It says on the back, high fantasy, low stakes with a double shot of coffee. And basically we're following an orc. Yeah, she's an orc barbarian, Viv, who decides to set up a coffee shop in a town where nobody knows what coffee is. And it's literally about her building this coffee shop from the ground up. And this found family that basically comes together along the way. It's got some mild peril in it. It's got a sapphic relationship in it. It's got some of the most wonderfully cinnamon roll characters. Like, it was just everything I wanted it to be. It's got descriptions of food. There are literal cinnamon buns in this. Oh, it was just beautiful. I loved it. He's now writing one set in a bookshop, which I need in my hands immediately. Like, he's literally writing it now, he's saying on Twitter, but like, I need that in my hands immediately. And yeah, I finally had a 5-star read. Thank goodness. And those were almost all of the books I read in the month of October. So total disclosure, as always with you guys, it's now the 5th of November and I'm coming in to close off this vlog. I'm now back to school. The first week has been completely crazy. I will talk about that in my November wrap up, but I did finish 3 more books and I DNF'd 1 more. So I need to obviously talk to you about those and then do the stats for this wrap up. So the next book that I read was My Brother's Husband by Gengora Tagame. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. This is my very first manga, which is why I'm holding it this way rather than this way. And in this, we are following a man who's, oh, now got a Savannah in the room, whose twin brother has passed away and his husband arrives on his doorstep from Canada, and it's set in Japan, and he's also got the man that we're following, whose name I've now forgotten, has got his daughter as well, and it's all about kind of queer culture in Japan. It's talking about like what it's like to be queer in Japan, the way that people react to the husband, but it's also just about the relationship between the three of them and this kind of found family element to it. This was gifted to me by the lovely Harry, wonderful spouse Harry, as he is known, Leanne's husband from Literary Diversions, for Christmas, and I just really enjoyed this. It was my first time reading a manga, as I've said, and it definitely took me a while to kind of settle into the way that you read it, because instead of reading left to right, you read right to left. Sam is now investigating my bookshelf. And I don't know if it's the dyslexia part of my brain, but I really found that hard work to begin with. But after about 100 pages or so, I got really into it. And this was just really lovely. I gave it 4 stars. I didn't realise that this is volume 1. I thought this was the whole thing. It does actually say volume 1 right there. And it did feel very abrupt. It's something just stopped partway through the story, and I don't know if that's normal for manga. But yeah, I really enjoyed this, and I would definitely want to go on and read the second volume and get the end of the story. Then I read The Trial by Laura Bates. I think this was a Christmas present. Yes, this was. I think this was from Chloe at Chloe Reads Books, because it hasn't got a Amazon thing in it, so I think it came as part of my Christmas parcel from her. I was a bit disappointed by this one. I've read The Burning by Laura Bates. She's probably best known for the Everyday Sexism project and then book that she ran on Twitter. This felt quite basic. I really enjoyed The Burning. That was her debut YA novel. I think I gave that either 4 or 5 stars. That was really clever. This, like I said, it just felt like YA by numbers. So we've got a plane full of teenagers who are coming back from, they're American, coming back from a football game. So you've got, or basketball game, I think it is. So you've got the basketball players, which is the boys, and then the cheerleaders, which is the girls, and their plane crashes and they end up on this island, and all the adults are dead or have vanished, and they have to survive. And then one by one, things start happening to different people in the group. And they're trying to work out if there's something on the island or if it's one of them who is doing things to the others. And yeah, I gave this 3 stars. I felt like the twist or the reveal was super obvious. There was, being Laura Bates, there were feminist themes in this, which is one of the reasons why I picked it up, but it felt very info dumpy and a bit obvious. And yeah, I just didn't love it. I need to give a content warning for rape and sexual assault, and also coercive control, because that features in this book. There's also wound description, and obviously the plane crash at the beginning, which is very vividly written. If you are worried about flying or you are going on a flight, probably don't pick this one up, because it's a very vivid description of a plane crash. So yeah, it was okay. Gave it 3 stars. And then my last completed read of the month, because actually my last book of the month was a DNF, was The Last House on Leader Street by Catriona Ward. I pulled this out of Leanne's on-haul pile. I've had so many people review this book, and I'm going to say what they say, which is, this is really cleverly done, and I can't tell you anything about it. I really enjoyed this. I gave this 4 stars. It's very, very, very dark. Massive content warnings for abuse of all kinds, and trauma. That's probably all I can say without giving anything away. It's very psychological horror. It's very weird. The first 100 pages, I was like, what am I reading? But then gradually it all comes into focus, and I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, it's got a really good twist in it. I kind of worked it out beforehand. I had an inkling, and then the reveal came and I was like, oh yeah, I was right. So yeah, I thought this was really clever. I will definitely read more from her, but super, super dark. So just be careful picking that one up. And yeah, I gave that 4 stars, I think I already said. Then my last read of the month, which was also from Chloe, was If I Disappear by Eliza Jane Brazier. I don't know. Here comes Sav again to disrupt my filming. I DNF this at 100 pages because I just didn't care. We are following this woman who becomes obsessed with this true crime podcast, and then the host of that podcast disappears. And so this woman takes it upon herself. She doesn't like go to the police or get help from anyone else. She just takes it upon herself to go to this woman's house, to the ranch that her family run, and get herself a job and kind of like entwine herself in this woman's life. And it's quite oddly written, because parts of it feel like second person, because she's constantly talking to you as if you are the host of the podcast that's disappeared. She's gonna jump up now. Yeah, all day every day.
honestly. But just none of it made sense, and she's a really unlikable character, and I didn't care about the person that had disappeared, and it was all just a bit odd. And it's really short, so I probably could have pushed through, because it's like 296 pages. I probably could have pushed through, but I just didn't feel like it, and I've been having such a good reading month, I didn't want to drag myself down. So yeah, unfortunately I DNF'd this one, which was the last book of the month. So let's do stats, because I'm conscious that Sav's now over there staring at herself in the mirror. I'm conscious that this vlog is going to be super long. So in October, I read 19 books. 19! That is the best I've read all year, including August, which is my month off, where I read 17 books. So that was incredible. I read 6,434 pages, which is 208 a day. Again, like, for whatever reason, my reading was just off the charts this month. I think partly it was the lack of TBR I had in the second part of the month, where I was just grabbing what I felt like. And I obviously had a week off, which helped massively, although I did work quite a chunk of that. But yeah, it's just been a really good reading month. My average star rating was 3.68 as well, so I had good quality as well as the quantity. I did only have 1 star, which I was at 1 5-star, which I'm still not sure what's going on with my reading with that. I'm hoping for more 5 stars in November, but we'll see. And talking of 5 stars, obviously my favourite read of the month was Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry. Like, who saw this coming? I didn't. It's a high fantasy. I mean, I know it's... Here she comes. I know it's like a cosy high fantasy, like there's no actual like battles or politics or anything in this, and it was just very cute and cozy, and it's found family, which is one of my favourite things, plus food. I mean, I should have known this was going to be a 5-star, but yeah, this was just a real surprise. She's being really helpful. A real surprise. And I don't keep ARCs, and this is an ARC copy, so I'm gonna have to buy myself a copy of this when it comes out. I'm gonna go for like a nice hardback copy, because I just really thoroughly enjoyed my time with it. Most disappointing, I'm going with this one, The Woman in the Purple Skirt, because I had such high hopes for this. I think that it's mismarketed, and it was also disappointing because we were kind of buddy reading it for the autumn mixtape. So I know quite a few people were reading it, and like us hosts were reading it, so I was hoping it was going to be a really like exciting buzzy book to read, and it just fell a bit flat. I mean, it's only a couple of weeks later, I'm already kind of forgetting what it was about. So yeah, that was definitely my most disappointing read for the month. And then my TBR. So my TBR at the end of September was 68 books. I've read 19, how many did I say? 19 books and DNF'd 1, so that's 20. And then I cleared out 10 books from my TBR, and I have had books come in, but my TBR right now is standing at 49 books, which is awesome, because I've been trying to get it below 50 all year. So we finally did that at the end of October. However, slight spoiler for my November vlog, I'm about to open it, and I'm opening it with 3 books. But as of the end of October, it's at 49, so that's good. So if you made it to the end of this very long video, thank you, first of all, so much for being here. And we're going to have to go for some emojis from this. So if you got to the end of the video, leave me either the coffee cup emoji or the sword emoji, so I know you got to this point. Please subscribe if you'd like more of this chaos, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks, everyone. Bye.